Hey, good morning. Welcome to the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. Oh, last week was a week from something. So it was a busy week. Friday, I could go through the whole week, but Friday I had a tooth pulled. It's amazing how much bigger an adult tooth is from a baby tooth. I'm so used to seeing my children's teeth from just, a few years ago popping out. Some still need to come out. And they're just little tiny nubs. And then you pull your adult tooth that's like 50 years old. They're huge. They're like the size of your finger. I would put a picture up, but I don't know. It's kind of gross. Anyway, got lots of excuses for last week. Busy week. A lot of things going on. So really didn't put out a show last week. Sorry about that. But today it's the 1st of October. Welcome to October. I figured I want to do a show, talk a little bit of Kanban. Had a very simple question I had to try to figure out an answer to the question. Besides, I just wanted to give more information and make sure it leads into the ultimate goal for the team. And one of the questions, and this is very similar to what I had for an executive team that had a Kanban board. I came and sat in some of the meetings and noticed that the Kanban board hadn't moved. In fact, the Kanban apparently hasn't moved in 6 months when I got there. So I cleared out the Kanban board, took them all down that was done, and pulled stuff and put it off to the side. And, I really want to ask you, and Kanban board is a metric, by the way. It is a metric, and people don't really see it that way, but it really is. Is your Kanban board or your Scrum board a portrait, a painting that gets frozen in time and never moves? Is that really what a Kanban board is supposed to do? And I want to talk very, very basic thought processes here. I'm not going to get into the whole columns. I drew a little picture of here, little typical board, little proto board, small, simple board, to do, dev, test, done. Oh man, I just sneezed. Sorry about that. I wasn't planning on that, and I couldn't hit the mute button fast enough. Wow. I just hope it didn't blow my tooth out. That's a scary thought. Because the tooth is like in here, something there. So basically, imagine your finger that like coming out. I'm always worried about something happening. Anyway, that's kind of disgusting. You don't want to see the picture, though. If you're really like gore, send me a note. I'll send you a picture of the tooth. It's really disgusting. It's huge, though. Anyway, Kanban, right? So, and I want to keep this short. I want to keep this very logical to people. I a lot of times get the debate, the pressure, at executive levels and higher levels, and sometimes team levels. And I get managers too that will come back and say, well, that item is not really part like a Scrum board. It's more like a Kanban board. And it takes a couple months to get done. First off, there is no Kanban master on this planet who would agree with you that says that the items on the Kanban board should not stay there for 3 months. It ain't going to happen. Okay. When people cite that, it's like, yeah, it's not going to happen. No, it's not real. But I want to apply some common sense to why I say that. Why would we build a metric or a board to show visual representation of work being moving through the system if nothing moves through the system, or whatever we put on the board doesn't move and it sits there for 6 months like that executive group? So like if every day I was at a daily Scrum and the items on this board just stayed there where they were, and I'm showing a picture of a Kanban board on my little whiteboard for those on the podcast, and everything in the column just stayed there for a month, what value would this board be to the team? Zero. Absolutely zero. This would be zero value to the team because it's not showing anything. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time to update it, right? So what did people do to make it valuable, right? They broke the work down into smaller bits. and this is where I'm going to go with the team and everything like that. It's not about the item moving across the board, but if the item is big enough and it's legit, the way it's set up, then you got to break the work down to smaller bits. And those smaller bits are then what goes across the Kanban board. So I wanted to share that with you. The Kanban board or the Scrum board has absolutely no value if the items on the board do not progress across the board. Doesn't add any value to teams, doesn't add any value to nothing. And if you're going to argue that, well, it's a larger thing and it takes months to do, you are going against the wisdoms of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of Scrum and Kanban teams across the planet Earth. So you're the only one who's correct on this one, not the other 10, 20, 50, 100,000 people that are millions of people that are using Kanban and Scrum boards. Think about that for a second, right? Think about what do? They broke the work down a smaller bit, so they watch the bits go across the board so that they can use the value of that in their daily huddles, daily scrums, whatever you want to call them, depending on what you're doing. Think about that, right? And that's the metric. The board is a metric. If you get someone that says, well, it's not going to move board because it's bigger, then you need to break it down, right? Because otherwise, the whole purpose of the Kanban board, and if you have to go to, then, because I've done it before where someone broke Jira, I said, well, you are different than 10,000, 100,000 other teams that are using Jira. Or it wasn't Jira, it was something else. Was it Rally? I don't know. It was some other system. Oh, it was Microsoft's Azure product, and they broke it. And I'm like, it says, yeah, other 10,000, hundreds of thousands of teams, they don't break the system like you did, right? So think about it with the Kanban board. The next time you get in a discussion on the item doesn't move across the board, it stays in dev, or maybe it stays in test for like a month or a week or a few days. I mean, I like things that are less than a few days, to be honest with you. Then why do all these tens of thousands of teams use it? Because if nothing goes across the board has no value, right? It doesn't represent anything. Just a portrait, a painting, a snapshot in time, right? That's what it is. So with that, I want to wish you the best. We'll keep going. I said last week was a rough week, man. Getting that tooth pulled on Friday. That was a killer. I had to drive all around Philadelphia. Go to one place. Well, nope, you split that, because I split it in two. Anyway, so I want to wish you the best. Think of your Kanban board as a metric. How does the metric move? I could go into argument. I've seen other things, but we'll say that for another day. But they don't create metrics so that they stay stable and they don't change. If your metric never changes, why do you build that metric? I'm just going to leave that thought with you. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. Wish you happy scrumming, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.